morning and welcome to the Ventura Center for Spiritual Living. I'm Reverend Bonnie Rose, and it is wonderful to see you here today. Let us start our...
That we are one. And in that place of gratitude, I simply say yes to today, knowing that it unfolds perfectly in divine law. And I release these words knowing they are completely blessed. And together we say, and so it is.
And so it is, and so we allow it to be as we breathe and move deeper into the source of our being. Let us rest there and be still and listen to the words of our sacred reading.
An excerpt from I Hope I Screw This Up. Our happiness is not in anything external. Nobody and nothing has control of your happiness. If you think you need something for you to be happy, you make that thing your God. When you realize that the belief that you need any circumstance to be a certain way for you to be happy is a lie, you are totally free. You can't get more happy because of any external thing. I'm not saying that you can't enjoy external things, you absolutely can. But every time you try to get love from an external source, you cut off the love that you already are. You are naturally happy in the absence of the belief that you need something outside of yourself to get happy. I've learned that it's not when something happens, I'll be happy. It's when I'm happy, things will happen. And so it is.
So it is. All right. So we breathe into the joy of the shared moment and just allow ourselves to be that happiness, that joy, that love that we already are. And as we remember who we are, we become so full of remembrance that we begin to sing about it. It just pours out of us. We remember that our name is I am. I am whatever I am conscious of being. I am is the name of God. I am love. I am peace. I am truth. I am happiness. We sing this song for ourselves. We sing it for the people sitting in this room. And we use these words to know the truth about all beings everywhere, that everything is a part of unbroken wholeness. Everything is the life of God. So let us sing together, I am remembering. I am remembering who I am. And our conscious remembering has just stirred us into a beautiful, energetic soup that blesses ourselves and blesses all beings. And so together we just know that as we breathe in deeply. And then exhale, opening our eyes in love with what is, as it is, and so it is.
Good morning. I'm Laura Ocean, so happy to be back with you again, and this song is called Thank You. You are my friend. I'm so glad it's you. My life is rich with all the things that we've been through. It's a brand new day. What a gift that is to breathe the air and have more time to live. And so I thank you, friend, and I thank you, life. My heart is full with this moment in time. Life is so sweet, and our moments are few. The only song we're singing 'cause I love you. Let's go outside and enjoy the view. Everything's more beautiful when I'm sharing it with you. I feel so much beyond words. I am the sky and I soar like a bird. And so I thank you, friend, and I thank you, life. My heart is full with this moment in time, and life is so sweet, and our moments are for you. The only song we're singing is I love you. How could I rush through this miracle of life and not give thanks? My point of view is knowing that there are no mistakes. So take my hand, let's savor every moment we have left. I'm living life wide open, and I let go of all the rest. Thank you, friend. Thank you, life. My heart is full with this moment in time, and life is so very sweet, and our moments are for you. The only song we're singing, the only song we're singing, the only song we're singing is I love you.
All right, everybody. Well, it's great to see you. Just how blessed we are, right? I mean, just look at all the people here and how beautiful everyone is in this incredible building with a new sound system. Thank you, God. Thank you, Brock. Yeah, and and our beautiful band and Laura, who is just wonderful, and Laura, yeah. Hugh's reading and wonderful, right? Right. And then there's my talk. You know, we'll see how that goes. Thank you. Okay. Oh, good. Okay. Thank you. And so it is. Amen. No, I'm actually starting with sort of a dark topic. I was curious. Is there anybody here that loves it when you receive really harsh criticism? Ooh, yay. All right. So I've shared this with you before, probably many times, that it seems to be part of the job of ministry. It doesn't happen as much as it used to. Maybe I'm just dull to it, I don't know. But you do sometimes get criticized, and one of my favorite forms of criticism is what I call the drive-by, which is when I'm out at the back shaking hands and hugging, and hugging, oh, wonderful service, oh, hugging, oh, it's great, hugging, you suck. So my favorite drive-by was a guy who pretty much said that to me because I opened my eyes during a meditation. Um, and he, I know, go figure. Yeah, because none of you would ever do that, right? Right? Yeah, yeah. And he told me that I was a hypocrite, and I never saw him again. He's like, "You're a hypocrite. Bye." Okay, thank you. And I'm making light of it now because when you look back on it, it was years ago and it was pretty funny. But at the time, I kind of carried it with me for a while, and I had that dialogue going in my head where I wanted to prove to him that I was not a hypocrite, and that he was actually the one who was wrong. Anybody familiar with that dialogue? Yes. Yeah. So that's an example of how we use other people to validate our worthiness or our right to exist or our right to be who we are, expecting them to always like us and always say nice things about us, when, of course, if you're human, they're not always going to do that. The other thing that we do is we expect life to do that same thing. We expect life to validate us. And I was thinking about this about 5 or 6 years ago. I went and I did a tour of my past. I went back to North Carolina, where I lived for 9 years, and I went back to New York. And I walked through my past really slowly and just pondered everything that I had experienced. And when I was at my college, one of my colleges, my alma mater, I was there and I was just struck with how beautiful it was. I was just walking through the gardens and looking at the architecture, and just the energy of the place was just so incredible and so beautiful. And I thought to myself, how did you possibly miss this when you were a student here, I missed all of the beauty. I missed out on what the place really was, And I recognized that I missed out because I was preoccupied with proving something, proving that I was acceptable, proving that I deserved to be there. It was an academically rigorous school, and everybody who went there was like, we had all been sort of like near the top of our class in high school, and when I got there, everybody else was top of their class too, and I was like, how am I going to stand out? And, am I going to bring shame upon my family by flunking out? That sounds very Godfather, doesn't it? Don't want to disgrace the family. Right? Oh, I'm having too much fun up here. So we do that with people. We do that with life. We rely, as it said in the reading, on external things to prove our happiness or to validate us. And I'm wondering with you today, and hoping with you today, that there is a better way. So the name of this talk is you are what you love. You are what you love. And it comes from a line in a movie that is, you are what you love, not what loves you. In a way, that doesn't make any sense to me, but we're going to explore that and see what that really means. Just to sort of start it off, I think it means that we're constantly searching for love, searching for love outside of us, searching for something to validate us. Remember that song, Looking for Love in All the Wrong Places? Remember the Eddie Murphy version of Buckwheat sings? With this humidity, my hair's been a little like buckwheat. So he would sing, "Wookin' Panab in all the wrong," yeah, all the wrong places. Yeah, we're looking for love in all the wrong places, and we are love itself, and we recognize that we are love itself by being in love with what we love. But so often we do the opposite of that. And what I think the culprit for creating the opposite that is our ego mind, our ego mind that is searching external validation. The philosopher George Gurdjieff said that humanity's deepest flaw is the desire to be thought well of. Now, I can forgive him for ending a sentence with a preposition, maybe. Because I think he's right. It also, to me, feeds into Buddhism, where Buddhism is about releasing attachment, right? Suffering is caused by attachment, and through detachment, we have freedom from suffering. We are extremely attached to what other people and the world is saying about us. We want it to match this image, this image that we hold up of ourselves, And if you think you're not attached to what the world and what people are saying about you, that may not be entirely true. I had a friend once, a practitioner, and I was chatting with her, and I was talking about that Gurdjieff quote, as a matter of fact, that our chief flaw, I may be paraphrasing it, but our chief flaw is the desire to be thought well of. And she said, I don't care what anybody thinks of me. I'm a religious scientist, and I don't care what anybody thinks of me. And I go, well, you're a liar. And she was like, what? I am not a liar. Like, thank you for proving my point. You know, if you're a human and you don't care what people think of you, chances are you're in denial, or you could possibly, I don't know, be a Vulcan. So check your ears, everybody, you know. And if you're a Vulcan, I salute you. I worked on that, by the way, this week. I'm not even sure if I did it right, but I worked on it. Kyle Cease tells a story about, Kyle Cease is the author of our featured book, I Hope I Screw This Up, and he's a comedian who is also a metaphysical teacher. I don't relate to him at all, by the way. No. But he tells a story about a time when he really, really, really cared what people thought about him. And he was doing comedy, and he was quite successful. And he started kind of losing his edge. He started getting very nervous on stage. And he was so nervous that he took it into some meditation and tried to sit with the nerves and see what it was leading him to do. And he decided to start teaching a class for other comedians to help them overcome their nerves. You know, you teach what you learn to, you teach what you need to learn, or you learn what you need to teach, either way. And he started teaching this wonderful class, and he said it brought him so much joy and so much goodness, and he was just delighted with it. Well, then he got an email from one of his friends, and in the email it said, "You are a fraud. Kyle Cease, you are a fraud." And it was a link to a blog written by another comedian that talked about what a hypocrite, what a fraud, what a, hypocrite was the word that the drive-by guy used for me, what a hypocrite Kyle Cease was. And we don't like to be called a hypocrite. You know, Richard Rohr says that that's like the one thing in the Bible that makes Jesus vomit, is hypocrites. That's a joke, by the way. It doesn't actually say vomit in the Bible. But Jesus really was tweaked a little bit by hypocrites. So anyway, he got this email that was written by a comedian, and he said it was by another comedian, so it was really funny and really well written, but it made him feel really badly about himself. And he said that his mind just went crazy with worrying about what this stranger thought about him. I have a quote from the book about what his mind was saying. You know how you have like several little minds going at the same time? Okay, so does he. My mind. How am I going to fix this? My mind. Why even try? It's all over. I'm so sad it's all over. My mind. I'm so upset right now. I feel like punching something. My mind. What if I land a huge role in a movie? That'll show everyone. My mind. I won't get cast in any movies, not after this. My mind. What would be a good thing to punch? My mind. If I have an amazing gig, that would fix everything. My mind. Why don't you just punch your own stupid face, stupid? My mind. Yeah, I'll punch my own face. That'll show everyone. But does this ring true to any of you? You know, maybe not the punching in the face business, but what your mind does. He was saying that his mind was trying to achieve himself out of feeling badly, or his mind was trying to correct the other person out of feeling badly. You know, all of those things that we do, that we work with our mind. And you know, the thing is that the thing that what the guy said about him, it's made up. He made it up. It may be his opinion, but that doesn't make it true. And all of the stuff that Kyle Cease is getting hooked into that he's saying about himself, that may be his opinion in the moment, but that doesn't make it true. You know that saying, Terry Cole Whitaker wrote a book by this title, What You Think of Me Is None of My Business? I'd like to adapt that to what you think of me is not even real. How about that? You know, and to bring this back to a level that's not quite so esoteric and out there, you know, a couple of weeks ago I told this story, and I'm going to give the edited version again, because it really struck me again that this is what we do. I was chatting with Judy Pando, and she told me she was reading the dirty parts of the Bible. Here we go again. And, the first thought I had is, wow, that Reverend Judy is a saucy minx. Wish I was more like Reverend Judy. And the conversation ensued from my assumption that Reverend Judy is a saucy minx, which she probably is, but it was still my assumption. And then she was having a conversation with me based on the idea that Reverend Bonnie is kind of a dullard. She's not getting what I mean by this sentence. I'm reading the dirty parts of the Bible. It's actually the name of a book, a novel, right? But I thought she was there like flipping through Song of Solomon. Whoa, baby. I'm sure that will be part of Kim's class. Yeah. But you see how it's not real. The thought that Judy Pando is, that she's a saucy minx. Okay, she may be some of the time, but it's not the whole of Judy Pando. And the thought that I'm a dullard, okay, I may be some of the time, but it's not the whole of who I am. These thoughts that we have are only partially true, and if they are only partially true, they are not absolutely true, and they are not real. And we are operating from this system almost constantly, from this idea that the thoughts of other people that they have about us, that they are real, when really they are not real. That the way life shows up for us is real, our opinion about life and how it's showing up and how it's invalidating us and teaching us that we're not worthy. We're thinking that all of that is real, that is really a fact. Wow, this really shows me that I don't deserve. And that is made up. That is not real. So how do we move from the unreal to the real, as it says in the Hindu peace prayer? Oh God, move us from the unreal to the real. I think the most important thing is to recognize that we get into this place of unreality, that the mind gets so busy because the mind is ignorant of our true nature. Our mind forgets our true nature. That's why we sing, I am remembering who I am every Sunday, because that's one of the most important things to do, is to remember who you are. Our mind is ignorant of our true nature. We think that we are our experience. If we feel sad, we say, I am sad. If we feel excited, we say, I am excited. If we are angry, we say, I am angry. And we have to be careful what we put after our I ams, because I am is the sacred name of God. By the same token, when we have a hamburger, when we experience a hamburger, it says this in the book, we don't say, I am a hamburger, right? But if we're experiencing fear, sad, anger, any of the emotions, any of the thoughts, we think this is what I am, and that's not true. You are so much more than that. What you are is vastness. Kyle Cease says in the book that you are not the clouds, you are the sky. He says, you are not the wave, you are the ocean. He says, you are not Space Mountain, you are Disneyland. And I would adapt that just a little bit. I would say that you are both the clouds and the sky, that you are the ocean and the wave, that you are Space Mountain and Disneyland. And in fact, you are that which is beyond all of those things. You are beyond the ocean. You are beyond the sky. You are the sky of the sky. You are whatever is beyond Disneyland. That you are the source of everything. That is your true identity. Your true identity is source. You are vast. You are infinite. You have free will to use that infinity in ways that are either constructive or destructive. Again, I want to reiterate that you are so incredibly vast, and yet that vastness needs a container. And I think that the only thing that can contain the vastness of who you are is love. Because love is similarly vast and infinite and amazing and powerful. One of my practitioners that I used to see for counseling, she would say, the I am says, I am conscious. I am whatever I am conscious of being. And that's a description of God, but it's also a description of us. I am whatever I am conscious of being. So if I am conscious of being love, then I am love. You are love to the extent that you know that you are love. And how do you know that you're love? Seriously, how do you know that you're love? Well, I was hoping someone could explain it to me. No, I have an answer for that. Let me back up just a minute and talk a little bit about our vision statement there, which, when we made that vision statement shortly after I arrived in Ventura in 2004, 2005, something like that, and I do love it, to love as God loves. And I think we may be moving into a different vision statement. I'm just kind of letting you know that. Because as I look at that vision statement, I see something slightly different. I see that our vision is to love as love loves, first of all, and love loves by loving. It's so simple. It's so ridiculous. It's so simple. Love loves by loving. We are love becoming love. We are what we love, not what loves us. How do we, because we are both spirit and matter, how do we bring this sort of lofty concept of love into our lives? That's what we do. That's what we're here to do here on the planet Earth. How do we bring this into our lives? Is we live as if the truth is true. We live as if we are love because we are. And that looks like something different for everybody. I have a friend that I know from up north, from my friend Nipun Mehta's organization, and he's on their board there. And I met him last summer, and I recently read an article by him. His name is Somik. And Somik, in this article, was talking about how back in India, where he lived when he grew up, he was telling his father as an elementary school student, his father, Somik was an elementary school student, and he was talking to his father and saying, Dad, I just hate math. I don't understand it. I hate it. I don't want to take it anymore. And his father said, you need to learn to love math. Somik said, I don't know if that's going to be possible. But, being a child, being very innocent, being very willing, being very sort of pliable, his solution was to pick up his math book and look at it and say, I love you. I love you, dude. And lo and behold, he started actually getting interested in math. He started recognizing that there was a beauty to it and that it was fun to figure out puzzles. And it ended up that he excelled in math after a while through the practice of loving math and finding what he loved about it. The same thing, he said the same thing happened with history. He didn't like history, but he's like, no, I'm going to find a way to love history. And he discovered through saying, okay, I'm going to love history, he discovered that history is all stories. And some of them are amazing. Some of them are incredible. Some of them I can't even say on stage here. I heard one the other day that I'm so tempted to talk about, but I just can't right now. And it's in the Bible, Reverend Judy, I'll tell you later. It's like that. It could be as simple as just saying, I am willing to love this. For all of us, there's going to be a unique way for you to become the love that you are and to live as if that truth is true. I know as I've meditated on this topic during this week, one of the things that I've started practicing is this. I'm assuming that a lot of people here have a job that is similar to mine or a life that's similar to mine where there's always something to do. You feel like you're never quite getting it all done. There can be stress, there can be pressure. I don't really have a big commute, but many of you have a big commute. Many of you have children. I just have dogs, but still there's pressure there too. There's a relationship, there's a marriage, there's a home. There's so much to take care of. There's so much going on. And sometimes I get caught up in the story of this script of I can't get it all done. This is overwhelming. This is exhausting. And then I was thinking back to when I was walking around my alma mater and thinking, how did I possibly miss this beauty? And I don't want to miss this experience that I'm in now. I don't want to miss the beauty of serving here at this beautiful center with all of the incredible good that is here. And I would say 90% of the good is sitting in those pews there, but there's much good behind the scenes too, much of the good work that we're doing in the world, and what a privilege it is. What a privilege it is to be doing Spirit's work. And in your life, maybe there is some good that you're missing because you're preoccupied with stress or getting there or getting it done or trying to prove someone or trying to make people like you or trying to control. What if instead you could just let that go and just say, I am going to love my life. Be like Somik with his math book and think of your life and just say, I love you. And at the end of the day, think about, wow, what were 10 things that I love today? And if you focus on it, it will expand. If you focus on it, your love will grow and you will fall in love with your whole life. And what happens too is that even the things that don't seem quite so lovable, you know, I think if I get a drive-by today, I would have compassion for the drive-by person. I'd be like, oh, bless your little pointed head. That's sweet. There's a line from La Cage aux Folles, the French movie about, you know, that movie about the nightclub, and the two men who are married, one of them gets beat up defending his husband's honor, and the husband whose honor was defended says, oh, that man who was beating you up, he looked so silly when he was dunking your head in that fountain, you know? I think we have that option of being that way for ourselves. So there's a way to do this. If you want a really simple practice, what if you were to turn your to-do list? How many of you here have a to-do list? Okay, yeah. How many of you have a to-do list that actually has another to-do list attached to it? Yeah. A to-do list for your to-do list. And, you know, I could talk about levels because there's a whole system of Post-its going on in my house. It's not pretty. But what if, instead of calling it your to-do list, what if you called it your to-love list? Oh. You know, what if these are the things I'm going to pour my love in today? You do that and you watch your life change. When you love, there's more to love. That's all there is to it. It's basic spiritual law. So, this is what you're going to do, okay? You're going to listen to this last story, which is a story from my friend Somik's article, and it's a story about two martial arts fighters. And they are sworn enemies, but they decide to meet for tea. And they're trying to be very polite to each other. And the first martial arts artist is serving tea, so he's asking the second one, okay, which kind of tea would you like? We've got, I don't know any like exotic teas. We've got red zinger. We've got chamomile. We've got green tea. And the second martial artist says, it doesn't matter what tea you serve me. I've already decided that I'm going to love it. Love is your decision. What a timely day to sing that song. It's true. And if we constantly practice making love our decision, not only do our lives change, it becomes contagious. And the whole world starts tuning into this vibration and this energy of love. And we are the love that we wish to see in the world, and the world reflects that back to us. So let us do some loving and some reflecting and some changing up the world right now as we turn within and we pray. Oh, thank you. Thank you. All right. And so I rest in that beautiful stillness, that beautiful energy that is the life of God, that power, that grace that is love, that is beauty, that is just amazing, that is love becoming love, that is my life becoming my life, that is your life becoming your life. How wonderful it is to be in this circle of energy and this powerful shift in consciousness that is the love expressing through all of humanity and all beings, that is this hidden treasure that is seeking to know itself through the divine work that we do here today and every day in this spiritual center and in the spiritual center that we call our lives. And so I know that our lives are incredibly blessed, that there are more and more reasons to love, that we become the love that we long to see in the world because we already are that. We just relax and we let go and we settle into that love, singing that prayer of thank you, singing that song of I love you. We are stretched into new ways of love, ways beyond our imagination. And we know and we trust that even if something seems unloving, the capacity for love is always there. And that sometimes love means letting go. Sometimes love means saying no. Sometimes love means saying yes. Love is love, and we allow love to inform us from the inside out and from the outside in. We no longer rely on anything other than love to tell us who we are. we remember who we are, the vastness of infinite love, infinite upon infinite love. And this love guides us, guards us, and protects us every day of our life and beyond. And so I'm so grateful for that. We are so grateful for that. I'm so grateful to be loved, so grateful to recognize that we are loved, and so grateful for this spiritual work that we've done here today together as a community that I know will lead to both personal and global transformation. It's already happening, and we get to be a part of it. How beautiful that is. And so I bless this time together. I bless this teaching. I bless all paths to God, churches, synagogues, temples, mosques, ashrams. I bless everything. I bless fundamentalists and atheists. I just bless everyone because everyone is a blessing. And with a heart that is so filled with blessedness, I say, thank you, Spirit, thank you, God. And I release these words into the divine mystery, and together we say, and so it is. I am so blessed. I am so blessed.
I wrote this song in the context of romantic relationship, but the song is really not about whether to stay in relationship with a particular person or not. The song is about staying in relationship to love itself. And those situations that confront us, that make us want to separate or disconnect or check out, those are our opportunities to lean in, to lean into love, that we are, that is our true nature.
Baby, we can build something together, a refuge in stormy weather, a little patch of sun. We've only just begun. Baby, this is all that I got, and I won't pretend to be what I'm not. So we'll take the sun with the rain, and we'll grow through the pain. And sometimes I don't know where to begin. I don't want to start over again. I am not who I have been. When I feel like checking out, I lean in. Lean in. Well, I know we both have our stories, tales of sadness, tales of glory. They're written on our hearts with some dark and scary parts. You are asking me for forever, a promise that we'll stay together. Well, I'm not sure I know how, but I can love you now. And sometimes you don't know where to begin, and the past shows up again. Will these tender parts ever mend? When you feel like checking out, you lean in. Lean in. I want you by my side to hold me near. Whatever life may bring, well, baby, I'm right here. sometimes we don't know where to begin. So we keep choosing love again. We are more than we have been. When we feel like checking out, we leave